Revealed, incredible journey of a black CEO from yacht party exclusion to inspiring triumph. Marcus Turner stood at the harbor, the evening sun casting golden hues across the water, and felt a mix of exhilaration and apprehension. An invitation to the yacht party, glittering with the promise of connection, had arrived unexpectedly. This wasn't just a social gathering, it was a doorway into a world where dreams of success could come to fruition. He had worked tirelessly to build his tech startup, focused on empowering local businesses. Now, he stood among the city's elite, ready to break through. But as he stepped onto the yacht's deck, the glimmering skyline of Atlanta faded into shadows of whispered judgments and icy glares. Moments of laughter and clinking glasses transformed into a chilling loneliness that wrapped around him like a thick fog. Instead of the validation he sought, the piercing looks hinted at deep-rooted prejudices, barriers erected long before this moment. Despite his hard work, the feeling of not belonging gnawed at his soul. And just as he grappled with isolation, the ghosts of his past materialized in the form of his estranged father, Marcus Darnell, a man he hardly knew. Struggling with his own demons from years of military service, Darnell had faded in and out of Marcus's life like a bad memory. The tension between them felt like a storm brewing, with years of absence squaring off against the fragile bond of blood. Marcus's heart raced with sadness and resentment, the memories of his single mother, Lorna, rushing back. She had taught him bravery, instilled in him the value of resilience. Now, he was left holding the weight of family loyalty against the throbbing need to stay true to his community. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let us continue. With an insatiable urge to prove his worth, Marcus poured his heart into a plan to uplift not just himself but his entire community. But when a local community center, a lifeline for many, faced sudden closure, urgency replaced ambition. The nagging fear of failure staked its claim in his mind, making the impending confrontation with his father feel even heavier. As everyone grew desperate, Marcus remembered a lesson from his mother: the power of community and connection. As the realization struck him, a sense of purpose surged through him. Perhaps true success was not locked behind the doors of elite gatherings but was fostered in the shared moments of solidarity. Therefore, he threw himself into rallying his neighbors, motivating them to fight for each other. Standing tall amidst the cheers and determination, Marcus began to bridge gaps both within the community and within himself. Yet as he found strength, the unresolved conflict with his father lurked in the shadows. Standing amidst his neighbors, Marcus's heart ached. Would he manage to heal their broken bond despite the weight of judgment and disappointment that hung between them? As the crowd rallied around him, the question remained: could he shatter the barriers of his past while stepping into a brighter future? The next morning, Marcus awoke to the sound of his phone buzzing incessantly. He glanced at the screen, dreading the notifications. No messages from investors, no congratulatory replies for his community rally. Instead, the bleak news was flashing across social media: another local business had closed its doors due to lack of funding and support. A familiar panic surged inside him. He knew these struggles too well, and they unexpectedly felt personal. As he slipped into a pair of worn sneakers and headed outside, the brisk air hit him like a wave. The morning light spilled over the neighborhood like it always did, but today, the glow seemed less hopeful. He caught glimpses of his neighbors, people who had rallied together just the day before. Their faces were etched with worry, doubt creeping back into the hearts that had felt so charged with hope just hours ago. "Marcus!" a voice called out. It was Gina, the community center director. She approached him, her face a tapestry of concern mixed with defiance. "You saw the news. We need to act fast. The center is still at risk." He nodded, feeling the burden settle heavily on his shoulders. Here it was, the moment he had been waiting for a chance to turn that vague hope into tangible action. "I want to let it close," he asserted, though the tremor in his voice almost betrayed his own uncertainty. Gina placed a reassuring hand on his arm, her eyes full of fire. "We do this together. Let us not just save the center, let us make it a hub of empowerment. We need everyone, entrepreneurs, artists, youth groups. We can show them what this community is truly capable of." And just like that, the spark ignited. Marcus felt it pulse within him, a charge of collective energy that could reshape the narrative. They began by gathering a group at the center that evening, inviting anyone who had a stake in the community's success. As they shared ideas, laughter erupted at times, and Marcus felt the warmth of camaraderie wrap around him like a comforting embrace. There were mothers worried about childcare, young tech enthusiasts excited to propose workshops, and local chefs wanting to showcase their culinary talents. With every shared story, Marcus could feel the walls of separation between them crumbling. For the first time, he dared to envision what could be a vibrant, united community coming together to uplift each other. But deep down, a lingering weight pulled at him. In the middle of their fervor, a moment of vulnerability nudged at him. He knew he couldn't keep avoiding his father. What if they could find common ground? What if Darnell could understand his world, and he, in turn, could reclaim some lost pieces of his own history? Marcus looked around at his neighbors, their faces lit with determination. Maybe he could face his past while building a new future. It wasn't just about healing his own wounds but empowering his community to do the same. As he stepped outside, the evening air was thick with ambition and fresh possibilities. He glanced back at the center, which now felt like a beacon of hope. But just as he turned to leave, his phone buzzed again. This time, it was a text from a familiar number. "We need to talk. Your mother is worried." His heart sank, the chilly grip of anxiety settling in again. How could he juggle both his emerging responsibilities and the scars from his past? He stood there for a moment, caught between the future he was desperately trying to build and the past he couldn't escape. As he took a deep breath, a single thought crystallized: he would need to confront one before he could truly embrace the other. Could he face Darnell while still holding on to the strength of his community? The question hung in the air as he made a choice. He had to find out. The streets felt narrower as Marcus walked toward his mother's house. Each step was heavy with the burden of impending confrontation. Memories flooded his mind, echoes of arguments, silent dinners, and the weight of unmet expectations. But today, he grasped onto a new conviction: he wouldn't back down. Dusk settled, casting long shadows on the pavement, and Marcus took a moment to breathe. He could imagine his mother sitting in her familiar armchair, knitting needles clicking softly like a metronome. Would she welcome him with open arms, or would the tension resurfacing from years of absence greet him instead? As he reached the door, he hesitated. His heart raced, the fear of rejection swirling within him. But he couldn't turn away, not now. So, he knocked firmly, yet uncertain. The door creaked open, revealing his mother's surprised expression. "Marcus," she breathed, her voice laced with a mix of relief and apprehension. "You're here." "I wanted to talk," he said, the words spilling out before he could reconsider. She stepped aside, allowing him to enter. The interior smelled of baked bread and cinnamon, familiar scents that tugged at his heart. He noticed the framed pictures lining the walls: family gatherings, birthdays, moments that felt like a lifetime ago. "Your mother was just worried about you," she said, her voice wavering as she gestured toward a seat. Marcus sat down, absorbing the atmosphere. "I'm fine, Mom," he replied, struggling for stability. "It's the center that's in trouble. I want to do something." He trailed off, unsure how to articulate the whirlwind of emotions within him. "And what does that have to do with me?" she asked, a hint of defensive resolve surfacing. I think we need to connect. I don't want to just heal the community. I need to heal us. His voice cracked, betraying the weight of his truths. I'm trying to create something that can help everyone, including you. I can't do it alone, and her expression softened but didn't lose its edge. And what about your father? I haven't heard from him since. She hesitated, emotions swirling between bewilderment and worry. Marcus felt a knife twist in his gut at the mention of Darnell. He's part of this too. I need to confront him. I need to find a way for us to understand each other. Do you really think he'll listen to you? She countered, a challenge igniting in her eyes. They had always been on different sides, even in their attempts to protect him. He leaned forward, tears threatening to spill. I have to try, Mom. If I don't face him now, I can't build the future I want for all of us. Silence enveloped the room, heavy and suffocating. He watched her process his words, the weight settling between them, 1,000 unspoken truths flickering like fireflies. Finally, she exhaled, her shoulders relaxing just a fraction. Marcus, your father is complicated. You need to prepare yourself for that. I know, he replied, deeper resolve bubbling within him. But I want to break the cycle. To create something better. Not just for me, but for everyone. Just then, she reached out, taking his hand, warmth somehow finding its way through the years of distance. Then we'll start together. But maybe meeting your father, it's going to be harder than you think. He squeezed her hand, a bond undeniably forged in that moment. I'm ready for whatever comes next. We can do this, right? One last look of uncertainty crossed her face, but slowly, she nodded. Then we'll face it as a family, for you and for your father. As the weight of that commitment settled around them, Marcus felt a flicker of hope igniting in the darkness. Just when he thought he could grasp it, another message illuminated his phone screen. Tomorrow at noon. Bring the papers. The sense of urgency gripped him. What papers? Whose papers? The thud of his heartbeat echoed in his ears as he faced the uncertainty ahead. Could the resolution for both his community and his family be intertwined in that unexpected summons? Marcus took a deep breath, preparing for a struggle he hadn't anticipated. Marcus sat in the kitchen, the air thick with lingering warmth from their earlier conversation. His mother's knitting needles clicked softly, a steady rhythm that soothed the anxious tremors in his hands. He watched her, the way she focused, intent on the yarn, yet her occasional glances toward him spoke of the worry that lay just beneath the surface. Have you thought about what you'll say to him? She asked, breaking the silence again, her voice gentle yet probing. I've got some ideas, he replied, though the truth was his mind raced with possibilities. Would he confront his father about the years lost? About the pain that echoed through their family? The questions felt sharper than any knife he'd come across. Marcus's phone buzzed again, another reminder of urgency. He resisted the urge to check the message. Instead, he let the evening air in through the open window, the distant sounds of laughter from neighbors twisting with memories of his own childhood. For a moment, the weight felt lighter, and he could almost envision a future that included healing, connection, and understanding. Mom, what if he doesn't want to hear me? What if he pushes me away again? The doubt crept in, his voice cracking like dry wood under pressure. She paused, setting her work aside, eyes searching his face for something. The truth is, I can't promise you it'll be easy. But you have to understand, sometimes people need time to process. Especially someone like your father. What do you mean? He leaned in, curiosity overtaking anxiety. He's had his own struggles, Marcus. It's not always been simple for him. Maybe he needs to see that you're serious about breaking this cycle. The weight of her words hung heavily in the air. Was there more to his father's silence than just avoidance? Was there a deeper story? Questions knitted themselves in his mind like the patterns in his mother's project. Meanwhile, the idea of the papers gnawed at his thoughts, a riddle he needed to solve. What did they signify? A chance at resolution? A doorway to understanding? Or was it another obstacle? Let me see what he meant by that message, he murmured, finally pulling out his phone. The stark brightness illuminated his face, casting shadows across the table that seemed to dance with his uncertainty. An unsettling twist of his stomach accompanied his thumb hovering over the screen. Instead of tapping to open the message, he caught a glimpse of a photo from earlier that day. It was the community center, brightly painted, yet visibly in disarray, a reflection of what he was trying to heal. His heart ached. Mom, what if he has documents about the center? What if that's what he wants to discuss? The thought hit him like a jolt. Was it possible that all roads led back to this healing? His mother tilted her head slightly, mulling over the implications. Then you should be prepared for everything. Don't be afraid to ask questions. You'll need to lead the conversation, not just follow. It's your story, too. As he processed her words, a fire ignited within him. He wasn't only fighting for his family anymore, he was standing up for his community, for his future. He had to embrace the uncertainties and make sense of them. Just then, his phone buzzed again with a follow-up message. With trepidation, he opened it. Bring something that matters to you. Something he can't ignore. Marcus stared at the screen, sensing the weight of expectation. What could that possibly be? It felt like the final piece of a puzzle that hadn't yet revealed its full picture. His mind raced, searching for the right object, the right symbol that could tie everything together. But deep down, he knew whatever he chose would have to resonate with both his past and his aspirations for the future. As he looked back at his mother, determined and hopeful, he felt the pressure build. Could he truly confront his father and reshape their legacy? Tomorrow was looming, and everything they had discussed was about to come to a head. Mom, I think I know what I need to bring, he said, knowing that this wasn't just about his father anymore. It was about breaking cycles and crafting a future. But would it be enough? With a sense of resolve stealing him, Marcus closed his eyes, envisioning the way forward. And as the clock ticked ever closer to the confrontation, he realized he was ready to face the truth. But would that truth lead to the family he yearned for or shatter every hope he clung to? The morning dawned with a soft, golden light filtering through the kitchen window. Marcus felt its warmth, but inside him, an icy rush of adrenaline pulsed fiercely. Today was the day. The sketch of his future loomed larger than life, yet felt as fragile as a bubble floating in the breeze. He glanced over at his mother, who was finishing her breakfast. There was a calmness in her demeanor that he envied. She had faced challenges in her life and, while they had formed a nice basket of shared stories that fueled their bond, today felt different. Today was about unveiling truths. Are you ready? She asked, her gaze steady and unwavering. As ready as I'll ever be, Marcus said, his voice barely above a whisper. He clutched the small box in his pocket, the object he had decided to bring, an old photo of him and his father, taken during a summer long ago. A simpler time, before the weight of the world turned their smiles into distant memories. Remember, it's okay to feel nervous, his mother reassured him, sensing the turmoil beneath his calm surface. But what you're doing is brave. You're not just confronting your father, you're opening a door. Marcus felt the truth in her words, a lighthouse guiding him through the fog of doubt. He was breaking free from a cycle of silence and hurt. It was time to confront the shadows they had long ignored. As he drove towards the community center, memories flooded his mind: the laughter, the tables where families gathered, the youth programs that had brought them all together. Would restoring them include repairing his broken relationship? Each thought twisted tighter in his gut. Pulling into the parking lot, Marcus' pulse quickened. He spotted his father leaning against a rusting van, looking older but still carrying that unmistakable pride. Burly hands rested on his hips, fists slightly opened in a gesture of welcome, or was it a challenge? Hey, Marcus called out, his voice steady despite the storm inside. Marcus. His father raised an eyebrow, folding his arms over his chest. You actually came. The comment stung, igniting old wounds, but Marcus held his ground. He took a breath and stepped closer, feeling the ground beneath him shift. "We need to talk." His father's expression shifted, muscles in his jaw tightening. "About what?" Marcus hesitated for a moment, then reached into his pocket, pulling out the photo. "About us. About what happened and this." He handed the photo over. "Do you remember this day?" His father stared at the image, eyes narrowing as memories played across his face. Long seconds ticked by, an eternity wrapped in silence. Marcus watched the emotions flicker through his father's features, a mix of nostalgia, regret, and something that felt like shame. "I remember," his father finally said, his voice hoarse. "I never wanted it to end like this." "Then let us not let it," Marcus urged, vulnerable yet resolute. "We can fix things. But you need to talk to me, truly talk." At that moment, amid the mixed feelings swirling around them, Marcus saw a glimpse of what could be. Could this be the start of rebuilding? A chance to mend what had been shattered? But just as hope stretched its hand toward him, a buzzing sound interrupted their fragile reunion. His phone vibrated in his pocket, drawing Marcus' attention away. With a quick glance, he noticed a new message from an unknown number, and his heart skipped a beat, curiosity biting at his resolve. As he stared at the screen, he wondered, what more awaited him in the unfolding story of his family? Marcus felt the weight of the unknown message pulling at him. It was hard to focus on anything else while standing face to face with his father, but that little screen was a siren-esque call. He hesitated, torn between the past and the present, between confronting the shadows of their relationship and discovering what the text could unveil. "Everything okay?" his father asked, concern creeping into his voice. "Just a message," Marcus replied, forcing his gaze back to his father. Can we do this first?" "Yeah, okay." His father's shoulders sagged a bit, as if he knew they were treading on fragile ground. Marcus took a deep breath, ready to dive into the conversation he had rehearsed hundreds of times in his mind. "You know, life hasn't been easy. I've felt your absence every single day. I thought confronting you would feel different, like I could finally scream what I've buried for so long." He paused, catching the fleeting shadow of disappointment on his father's face. "But here we are, and I don't want it to turn into just more hurt." His father shifted, his hands still resting at his sides. "I can't change the past, Marcus. But if you're here today, then maybe there's hope for us moving forward. Maybe we can at least start by sharing the truth," Marcus suggested. "What drove you away? Why did you stop talking?" He didn't recognize the urgency in his own voice until it echoed around them. All at once, the tension between them thickened. His father's brow furrowed, and time stood still while they both locked eyes. The silence stretched like an endless road, filled with bumps of unspoken words and frayed memories. Finally, his father spoke, his voice just above a whisper. "I was scared, Marcus. Scared I would fail you. I thought it would be easier to run away than face the truth that I wasn't the father you needed." "Easier for who?" Marcus asked, a spark ignited within him. "Because it sure wasn't easier for me." His father released a shaky breath, the pinched expression he wore showing signs of softening. "I didn't handle things right. I'm sorry you had to carry that weight." The apology, though long overdue, was like a sudden summer rain, washing away some of that pressure building inside Marcus. Still, doubt threaded itself through his heart. Was this genuine or just lip service? The phone vibrated again, breaking the fragile moment once more. He glanced at it again, the urge to respond almost overpowering. "I need to check this." "Go ahead," his father said. Marcus pulled the phone from his pocket. The message stared back at him, "We need to talk about your family. It's time you knew the truth about your past." A chill ran down his spine. What could that mean? Could it shake everything he thought he knew? Who was it from? His father asked, suspicion curling on the corners of his voice. Not sure. Heart hammering, he realized now the heavy price of curiosity. He pushed a breath out, feeling like a tightrope walker inches above a jagged cliff. But I need to understand. Marcus, wait, but his father's voice faded into the background as he focused on the screen. A decision lurked ahead of him. Would he delve deeper into this unknown, or keep pressing forward with the fragile ground he found beneath the shifting sands of their relationship? The weight of his father's eyes on him added pressure, and just as he contemplated his next move, another vibration echoed through the stillness, sending a shiver down his spine. Do I even want to know what lies behind this? He wondered as hope and fear grappled for dominance in his heart. What secrets were hiding just beyond his reach? Marcus's finger hovered over the screen, his breath caught in his throat. The little words twisted around in his mind, swirling with memories of disappointment and yearning. It's time you knew the truth about your past. What did that even mean? Did he really want to pull at those threads? His father shifted closer, concern etched on his face. Marcus, you look like you've just seen a ghost. Are you sure you want to dive into this now? The very air felt electric, charged with potential revelations. Marcus could feel his pulse quicken. I think I have to. I can't ignore this. This isn't just about you and me anymore. Okay, his father replied, voice thick with uncertainty. But remember, not all truths are easy to accept. Marcus nodded, not wanting to think about what that might entail. Without another moment's hesitation, he tapped on the message. Reading the words felt like peeling back layers of skin. Each line uncovered emotions he had long buried. A deep breath settled in his chest as he tried to process the enormity of what he had just opened. What if this changes everything? He thought, heart hammering against a wall of anxiety. What does it say? His father prompted, stepping a little closer, seeking connection. It's from a number I don't recognize. Marcus's voice faltered, building tension, welding him to the spot. It talks about family secrets. My past. Secrets? Panic flickered across his father's face. What else? Not much, but he hesitated, pulling the phone away from his vision. This feels important. I can't just push it aside. Please, don't open that door unless you're ready to face whatever's behind it, his father warned. What are you saying? You think I should just forget it? Marcus challenged, frustration starting to bubble up again. For so long, I've had questions. If there's more to this than we've acknowledged, I need to know. We both do. Sometimes ignorance is a blessing, son. What if this truth drives a wedge even deeper between us? His father reached out, a desperate gesture for connection. We've only just started to talk. His heart ached as he looked up at the man who had once seemed larger than life. The barriers felt finally beginning to shift, but this newfound tension crackled like static. Suddenly, he felt trapped between the memories of the past and the uncertainty of the future. A growl of emotion erupted in him. What if it doesn't? What if this could finally lead us to clarity? Isn't that what we both want? His father's gaze dropped, shadowed under the burden of his own unspoken fears. I want clarity too, but at what cost? There was a vulnerability in his father's eyes, a mirrored reflection of Marcus's fears. In that moment, something shifted within him. The message, with its haunting promise of truth, loomed larger than the staring silence swirling around them. Bracing himself, Marcus made a choice. I have to respond to the message. I need to see where it leads. Are you certain? His father asked gently but with a hint of desperation. With a nod, Marcus felt an unexpected wave of courage crash over him. He set his jaw, ready to wield whatever answers might come next. Just as he began typing, yet another vibration illuminated the screen, a relentless push from the universe. His hands trembled as he looked at it. A new message had arrived, one that could very well hold the key to everything he sought. Marcus, wait. Don't, but it was too late, he had already opened it. The words revealed a name, one that shook the very foundation of everything he thought he knew about himself and his past. Who is she? He gasped, eyes widening as the weight of the world pressed down on him, shoving him into the unknown. What had he just uncovered? The name sat heavy in the air like a dense fog. Marcus struggled to wrap his mind around it. Laura Monroe. The echo of her name felt foreign yet familiar, a ghost from somewhere he hadn't dared to acknowledge. His father stood frozen, the very breath caught in his throat. Tears threatened to spill from his eyes, something deep inside him breaking open. How do you know her? His voice was barely a whisper, stained with disbelief. I've never, Marcus stuttered, trying to make sense of the chaos swirling in his mind. Just this message. What does she have to do with me? What else does it say? His father's face was pale, his usually steady demeanor cracking under the weight of hidden truths. Only that she has information about my past, Marcus replied, confusion painting his features. He reread the screen, searching for clues as if the words could build a bridge to understanding. She claims we're connected somehow. That we share family. Family? The word rolled off his father's tongue like a bitter pill. Marcus, this could change everything. Are you sure you want to confront this now? Marcus's heart pounded in his chest. How can I not? I need to know. We both do. A growing tide of defiance surged within him, pushing him toward answers he had long avoided. His father took a step back, grappling with a whirlwind of emotions. There are things in our past better left buried. Sometimes, not knowing can be a blessing. No. Marcus snapped, the weight of confusion transmuting into anger. You can't keep shielding me from the truth. Not anymore. The defiance of youth and a desperate quest for identity swirled together, igniting a fire in his belly. Marcus, listen to me. His father's eyes were pools of tumult. There are secrets in our family that could shake our foundation. I thought we'd put the past to rest. Or maybe you did. But I deserve to know who I am, he shot back, every word dripping with resolve. The tension in the room thickened, wrapping around both of them like an unbreakable chain. Suddenly, moments of their shared history rushed back, late-night talks, flickers of understanding, and those painful silences that echoed louder than words. This was the moment their fragile bond could either heal or unravel. Okay, Marcus said, his voice lowering. I want to contact her. I want to hear what she has to say. His father's expression darkened, a storm brewing behind his eyes. You don't know what this could unleash. Are you really ready for that? With steely determination, Marcus nodded. If it means uncovering the truth, then yes. I deserve to know what I'm walking into, whatever it is. The room felt even smaller as the weight of secrets pressed on them. His father swiped a hand over his face, revealing a mixture of fear and grief. Then let us do this together, he finally relented, voice shaky. You won't go through this alone. With renewed purpose, Marcus glanced at the phone once more, the screensaver flashing the image of a family he had yet to truly understand. Then let us find Laura, he said firmly. As they both instinctively drew closer, two souls bound by a struggle both shared and individual, Marcus felt hope flicker in his heart, lighting the way for the uncertain journey ahead. Then, like a jolt of electricity, a thought shook him to the core. What if Laura holds the key to a life I never knew existed? What if everything I ever longed for lies hidden in her answers? The anticipation of uncovering hidden truths loomed ahead, and Marcus could almost taste the revelations. But deep inside, he wondered, what if the truth complicates rather than unifies? With trembling fingers, he prepared to send a response. Unbeknownst to them, the path to discovery was already stretching ahead, fraught with unforeseen twists. Could they truly handle whatever came next? Marcus stared at his phone, heart racing as uncertainty skittered through him. Should he send a simple, straightforward message? Or write something more heartfelt? The screen glowed with flickering possibilities, each one heavier than the last. Maybe just start with "Hi, Laura," and see where it goes, he murmured, half to himself and half to his father, who remained silent, lost in his thoughts. The weight of the moment pressed down on both of them. It felt monumental, like standing on the edge of a cliff, ready to leap into the unknown. "Sometimes, it's the simplest words that carry the most weight," his father finally said, as if guessing the turmoil weaving through Marcus's mind. The old man's eyes, usually so assured, shimmered with uncertainty. "Just be honest. You deserve that much." Marcus took a deep breath. He let his finger hover over the screen. Suddenly, all his frustrations from years of seeking belonging flooded through him. How long had he felt like an outsider in his own life? Like a puzzle piece that didn't quite fit? He tapped away, writing with intent. "Hi, Laura. My name is Marcus. I received your message. I want to talk, to understand what you know about my past." He hit send, his pulse leaping as if he had just dropped a stone into a still pond, the rippling effects already beginning to spread outward. "Now we wait," he said, trying to hide the nervous tremor in his voice. He sat back, and silence blanketed the room. The air felt thick, heavy with anticipation. Minutes turned into what felt like hours. His father paced a little, occasionally glancing at Marcus, mouth pressed in a thin line, lost in thoughts of his own. Marcus wondered what his father was thinking about. Was he worried? Regretful? Hopeful? Finally, the phone buzzed. The sudden sound made both of them jump, a shock of adrenaline jolting through the air. Marcus grabbed the device and opened the notification. It was her reply. "Hi, Marcus. I've been waiting for you to respond. We need to talk. Meet me at the old cafe on 5th Avenue. It's important." The last word echoed in Marcus's mind, igniting a wildfire of emotions. What did she mean by important? He exchanged looks with his father, who now wore a mask of concern. "Are you going to go?" his father asked, voice gravelly. Marcus felt a pull, a gravitational insistence toward this unknown meeting. "I have to. If she knows something about my past, I can't walk away." "It could change everything. You're barely prepared for this conversation," his father cautioned, but the fear in his eyes was mixed with a hint of admiration. "But I won't stop you. You need to follow this path." With a resoluteness he hadn't felt until now, Marcus nodded. "I will. We will face this together." With every heartbeat, the cafe loomed closer in his mind, the ambience buzzing with emotions and secrets both old and new. Each step in that direction became a step into his own story, a journey lined with questions and uncertainty, and from somewhere deep within, hope sparked. As he prepared to leave, another wave of doubt washed over him. What if Laura didn't hold answers? What if this unraveling led to pain rather than clarity? "Dad, do you think? What if she's not who she says she is?" His father paused, eyes narrowing as he considered the implication. Sometimes, the past can disguise itself in shadows. It can blur the lines of truth. But you have to shine a light on it. Marcus turned toward the door, heart licking at the edges of fear and excitement. Beyond that threshold, everything awaited a mix of danger and discovery. Would he find connections or more layers of separation? Taking a deep breath, he stepped out, the cool air hitting his face like a fresh start. His father's presence beside him felt like a steady anchor as they made their way to the cafe. But in the back of his mind, the question lingered: what lay ahead? Could unravel everything or forge a new beginning? As they approached the cafe on 5th Avenue, a world of anxiety and hope collided within Marcus. The familiar sights, sounds, and smells of the neighborhood were overlaid with a thick haze of uncertainty, as if the air itself buzzed with unanswered questions. Each step felt monumental, drawing him toward some awaited revelation. The cafe was cozy, with vibrant artwork lining the walls and chairs pushed askew, remnants of conversations shared. Marcus felt a mix of comfort and trepidation as he entered, scanning the room for the woman who held a key to his past. And then he saw her. Laura sat at a corner table, a tapestry of emotions playing across her face. Her presence felt electric, a woman imbued with secrets, a stranger who felt like a fragmented piece of his history. They locked eyes, and he felt the weight of connection shift in the air. He approached, his father lingering just outside the door, a reassuring presence anchored in uncertainty. "Laura?" Marcus murmured, trying to keep his voice steady. "Marcus," she greeted warmly, extending a hand. "I'm glad you came." He took a seat, looking deep into her eyes, searching for answers. "You said you have information about my past?" There was a tremor in his voice that he couldn't conceal. "Yeah, it's complicated, but I believe I have insights about our family that you may not know." She leaned in, her demeanor blending with a palpable seriousness. "Your father may not have told you everything." That hit Marcus, a mix of frustration and curiosity bubbling beneath the surface. "What do you mean?" Laura hesitated, her gaze flitting to the door before returning to Marcus. "Let's just say there are layers of our family history that can't just be brushed aside. I think you deserve to know the full story." He glanced back at his father, who remained outside, his expression unreadable. For the first time, Marcus felt the weight of responsibility. Could he handle whatever truth was about to unfold? Did he truly want to face the shadows? "What do you know about my father?" Marcus pressed, daring to peel back the layers. "Your father was in a bit of a bind before he left," Laura began, her voice steady despite the evident emotions. "And I think it pushed him to make some difficult choices. Choices that involved people way beyond just your family." As the pieces of a story fragmented before him, Marcus's heart raced. What does that mean? What was so important that he couldn't stay? "Your mother was part of a community effort to make things better for everyone, not just for you. But your father had conflicting interests. He got entangled in issues he couldn't resolve." Marcus felt a wave of disappointment wash over him. So he left because of complications? Because he didn't want to fight? Laura shook her head gently. "No, it's deeper than that, Marcus. Sometimes people think running away is a solution, but it often leads to more pain. He loved you and your mother, but he thought you might be better off without him." The air felt thick with unsaid words. "Did you know him well?" He needed to know how far the shadows stretched. "A little, yes," she replied, with a tinge of regret in her voice. "I was close with your mother during those years. She fought for you both with everything she had, trying to keep your family together, while your father battled demons he couldn't overcome." Her words struck a chord deep within him. Somehow, it felt liberating to hear a version of the family story that wasn't just shrouded in neglect and absence. "But why didn't she ever talk about you?" Marcus asked, his voice trembling with the realization of lost connections. "Why keep you hidden from me?" Laura's expression shifted, a light of empathy flickering. "Sometimes, when things don't go as planned, people try to protect their loved ones by creating distance. She likely wanted to shelter you from past aches." The truth felt like shards of glass piercing the corners of his heart, fragmented yet beautiful. "So this is about breaking the cycle," Marcus murmured as understanding washed over him. "About finding clarity." "Exactly. We all deserve honesty, Marcus. Even when it's painful. You have the strength to face it." Just then, the cafe door swung open, and his father stepped inside. The moment solidified as all three of them locked eyes, a complex tapestry of emotions weaving intricately among them. The past was no longer a dark cloud hovering ominously, it was a tangled web they could untangle together. "Marcus," his father said cautiously, joining them at the table. "The truth is surfacing," he replied, urgency wrapping around his words. "I know more about who we are and who we could be." His father's shoulders relaxed slightly, reflecting the relief that mingled with apprehension. "I wanted to explain things, but I didn't know if you'd be ready to hear it." The silence felt heavy as they faced each other, all three caught in a shared moment of potential. "Maybe we can start this conversation by unraveling the secrets," Marcus said, buoyed by determination. Together. Each heartbeat felt synchronized, a step toward healing, a step toward rebuilding not just family ties but the very essence of identity. Today marked a new beginning. They were finally embracing the struggle to belong, to connect, to heal. And in that moment, hope blossomed anew. The cafe felt alive as the past converged with the present. On the brink of their connected stories, they were poised to embrace a shared future full of strength, understanding, and mercy. And as they began to talk, weaving narratives of acknowledgement and reconciliation, Marcus knew this was the moment he had been waiting for. He'd never face the future alone again. They each held a piece of a greater truth, profoundly important, fiercely binding. So they spoke. As they navigated through it all, one resounding thought echoed in him: healing comes not from running away, but from facing the very truths that hold the power to unite. This journey was only just beginning. You need to subscribe now to not miss out on our next incredible transformation stories. This is the moment to show your support, so leave a like now to keep our community thriving. I want to hear you comment your thoughts and feelings about this ending, and what it means to you. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this inspiring journey. Let us spread hope together.